If you look at today's weather, you'd be thinking that today is a great day for a scuba dive in a rash vest. But the truth is, even this sunny day, the Cape water is still quite cold with the water temperatures about 8 degrees Celsius. Many would be excused for thinking it isn't great weather for scuba diving, but you probably also know the expression there isn't any bad weather, only the wrong clothes. In today's video, we will look at dry suit diving and why I think every diver should learn to dive and dive in a dry suit. So without further ado, let's dive into it. When it comes to dry suit and dry suit diving, many divers, especially those who haven't had the chance of trying a dry suit yet, think it's something extremely complicated reserved to technical divers and professionals only. Effectively, a dry suit is just designed to keep us dry, by covering almost the entire body except the head and the hands. As the name suggests, a dry suit keeps our body dry when in water, not warm. And keeping us dry, it will help keep us warm, even when in cold weather conditions, and for us that love diving, it turns it into a very versatile and a great tool that allows us to dive all year round and in many different locations. You shouldn't be put off by thinking that a dry suit is only something designed for cold conditions. As a matter of fact, it's all about comfort, and I dive dry all year round here in the UK, even when the water is over 20 degrees Celsius. A dry suit works by trapping a layer of air inside, and very much like a sleeping bag, our body is kept warm as the air is slowly taking the warmth away from our body. When the water gets colder, you can add extra clothes underneath the dry suit to help keep our body warm. Undersuits, also called underlayers and undergarments, are made from different types of materials and they are designed to keep us warm. You can use different undersuits depending on the weather conditions. Colder months, you need a thicker or multiple layers, while in summertime, you can use a thinner layer or even a t-shirt as long as you are comfortable. You can also add a dry hood and dry gloves to help with the cold. Dry gloves not only help with cold, but also with the dexterity when compared to thick wet gloves. Diving dry comes with a bit of learning curve, and there are skills and practices that you need to master in order to be able to be safe. The best way to do this is with a professional who can actually teach, evaluate, and correct you, and you can practice in a safe and controlled environment before taking your new equipment to a dive trip. Another benefit that a dry suit brings is the fact that to keep you warm, it uses air, and this air can be used to lift you up in case of an emergency. If your BCD fails, you can use the dry suit as a BCD replacement to bring you back to the boat safely. Another factor to consider is the compression, as there are not many dive computers that take your skin temperature into account during the dive, while telling you when it's safe to ascend. It is currently well known that being cold during the dive increases a diver's chance to get the compression, and by diving dry and keeping your body warm throughout the dive, it is a lot safer. So it does not matter if you dive dry or wet. You should never feel cold during a dive, and if you do, then you're not wearing the correct or enough exposure protection. Like I said previously, I dive in a dry suit all year round here in the UK and only use my wetsuit when dive abroad to really hot places like Egypt. When you go down, the air in your dry suit will compress, make the insulation thinner, and with a thinner insulation, you will get colder faster. To remediate this, you just need to use the dry suit valve to add more air into the suit to compensate for the compression and increase the insulation, keeping you warmer. Another way to keep you warm is to use heated undersuit, where you can turn it on and off as you get colder or hotter. I've made a video on my heated system. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below. Once I dive completed, get out of the dry suit is quite an easy task compared to a wetsuit, and you're not wet from head to toe. You don't need a shower just to get clean, or changing room to get changed. After a dive using a dry suit, You just need a towel to dry your hair and hands and pretty much good to go. If you're wearing normal clothes underneath, you can just drive out to the dive site or go to the pub or dry area of the boat for a good meal. If not, getting changed in the car park is not a big deal. But don't expect to unzip yourself out of your dry suit like James Bond. After the dive, like any dive gear, you want to clean up the suit with fresh water. But before you wash, you want to clean the zipper. And you can do with a kitchen sponge. Just use the soft side to remove all the sand or dirt off the zipper. After that, just clean the dry suit with fresh water and leave it hanging until it's dry on the outside. Once the outside is dry, you want to dry the inside. You can do it by opening the zipper and let the moisture out, or you can turn it inside out, so the inside humidity has come out. You can also have some hangers for dry suit. Some hangers have a fan and others let you hang the dry suit upside down, if your dry suit has boots instead of socks. I'll leave some links in the description below if you are interested. Now, before we store the dry suit, we need to take care of the zipper. That's the most fragile and most expensive part of the dry suit. To do this, we need to apply some wax to the zipper and close/open the zipper a couple of times to make sure the zipper is working well. The seals also need to be maintained. However, as I use dry gloves, I no longer use the wrist seals. For the storage, I normally store it in a hanger and not in a dry bag, and I only put in the dry bag when going diving. However, if you don't have space, you will need to put in a bag. Just be careful with the zipper. If you have plastic zipper, close it. Otherwise, leave the zipper open. For suits with two zippers like mine, leave the internal zipper open and close the external one. Also, don't forget to check out your dry suit manual. Your manufacturer knows the best option for storage your dry suit. And check out my video with 5 tips to keep warm in cold water.